You know that feeling, right? Like you're wearing a mask, just playing a role that isn't really you, just to get by. That feeling of being stuck. Well, today, we're going to unpack Jordan Peterson's guide to shedding that mask. We're talking about moving from persona to purpose and finding a life that feels, authentic.
All right, so where do we even begin this journey? Well, it starts with understanding the mask itself. Peterson has a name for this. He calls it the persona. It's that version of ourselves that we carefully build for everyone else to see.
And look, this is not just some abstract idea. I mean, take this quote from entrepreneur Stephen Bartlett. He's basically admitting that this persona was actively destroying his relationships. Think about that. By trying to be the guy he thought his partner wanted, he was making it impossible for them to have a real connection.
Now, to be fair, having a persona isn't automatically a bad thing. The psychoanalyst Carl Jung talked about this. He said it's kind of like a necessary tool for getting by in the world. I mean, you're not going to spill your deepest, darkest secrets to the bank teller, right? The real danger, though, is when that social shell is all you are, when the real you underneath gets completely lost. So what happens when that mask basically fuses to your face? Well, the consequences, they're a lot more serious than just feeling a little bit fake. And this leads to a really direct, kind of challenging question for you to think about. If your life is just one big performance, who's actually in control? Are you pulling your own strings, or did you hand them over to somebody or something else? This really gets to the core of what Peterson calls the Pinocchio problem. I mean, think about it. A puppet can't have a real adventure, right? Because someone else is controlling all its moves. When you live your whole life through a persona, you're basically trading the messy, unpredictable, amazing adventure of your own life for a safe, hollow, pre-written role. Okay, so if living a lie sucks all the meaning out of your life, what's the antidote? Well, the answer itself is simple, but actually doing it, that's incredibly hard. It's telling the truth. And this completely reframes the choice you have to make. It's not about picking an easy life versus a hard one. No, it's about choosing between a hollow role that you just kind of give into versus the messy, challenging, but ultimately meaningful adventure that is actually yours. But let's be real for a second. This journey, it is not glamorous. It doesn't start with some heroic movie-like moment. It starts with humility. It means taking a long, hard, honest look at your own flaws, your own inadequacies, your failures. Yeah, it's painful, but it's an absolutely crucial first step if you want to build your life on something solid. Okay, that's all great in theory, but how do you actually start? This is where we get to shift from the philosophical to the super practical. Peterson lays out two very concrete things you can do to begin this journey towards truth, like right now. Okay, step one is what he calls the strategic career plan. So if you feel trapped in your job, stop complaining and start acting. First step, update your CV. Get it perfect. This alone is an act of honest self-assessment because you have to face your weaknesses head on. Next, start applying for other jobs. You don't even have to take one. The point is to see what you're worth. Then, and only then, you walk into your boss's office with a plan and real negotiating power. See the difference? You're not a victim anymore. You're a strategist. All right, the second step is a self-awareness exercise, and it's deceptively simple but really profound. Here's what you do. Sit on your bed, get quiet, and get desperate for an answer. Then you ask yourself this very specific question: what's one thing I'm doing wrong, that I know I'm doing wrong, that I could fix, and that I would fix? And then you just listen. The key is you got to be ready to hear an answer you don't like. And you know what? A lot of the time, the answer is something small you've been putting off, like cleaning your room. Seriously, start there. So as you start doing these things, acting more truthfully, you start to build momentum. But it all leads to a much bigger question. What's the end game here? What are we even aiming for? Well, according to Peterson, most of us have our sights on the wrong target completely. We're all chasing happiness when what we should be looking for is something way more powerful, meaning. Just think about this comparison for a second. Happiness? It's like elevator music. It's kind of nice, but it's shallow, fleeting. It's a Mai Tai on the beach. But meaning is totally different. It's the uphill climb. It's triumph and despair. It's what you get from a worthy struggle. And that's what keeps you going long after the Mai Tai is gone. Because fundamentally, we just aren't built for a life of pure ease. We're creatures that are built to walk uphill, to strive. Your purpose isn't going to be found chilling in a comfort zone. It's forged in the fire of pursuing a difficult, worthy goal. That struggle, that is what gives our lives value. So what happens when you finally climb that hill? Well, the point isn't to build a house and retire. The point is to take a breath, enjoy the view, and then spot a higher hill off in the distance to aim for. The real goal is to always have a goal, something that pulls you forward. That's what keeps your life an adventure, not just a list of things you've checked off.
Which brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? After all this hard individual work, ditching the persona, telling the truth, climbing toward meaning, does any of it matter on a bigger scale? I mean, can one person's pursuit of truth actually save the world?
And the answer to that is, well, you can find out. See, this isn't really a conclusion. It's a challenge. It's not an answer someone can just give you. It's something you have to go out and live. The only way to find out if it works is to try it yourself. And that, right there, is an adventure worth having.